again why we left our country in search of this adventure? Not adventure. Revenge. Revenge. Now we face madness and misfortune roaming through these towering mountains with a tempest in our wake, and you dressed as a man. Oh, misery. Clarín, my lady.
Oh, misery. How can I hasten the heavens' answers? What crime have I committed by being born? If being born is man's greatest crime, then why do I alone bear the weight of this punishment? But isn't every living creature born? Then what freedom do they possess that's been denied me? What greater offense have I caused to deserve a crueler penalty? The bird is born and given wings to flee the sheltering trees and become a flower in the winds. And I, who have far more soul, must have less liberty? The beast is born, and nature proves a skillful hand in creating a strong and mighty form. But wretched is the beast, since it hunts and it is hunted in a crude and endless labyrinth. And I, with finer instincts than a beast, have less liberty? The river is born. It begins to stream and offers such sweet music to every flower and blade of grass that grants the flow of its course. And I, with far more life, must have less liberty. Tell me, what justice, reason, or law can deny man these simple rights, these fundamental exemptions, which God grants? A stream, a beast, and a bird. Isn't every living creature born?
His words have left fear and pity in me. Who has listened to my voice? Is it Clotado? Tell him yes. It's only a sad echo, a cry of pain lost within these cold walls that overheard your melancholy. Since you've witnessed my weakness, I'll destroy you with my strong arms. I'm deaf and I haven't heard a word. If you were born human, it is enough that I should kneel before you for you to spare me.
Your voice fills me with kindness. Your presence prevents my actions. And somehow, I feel something I've never felt before. Who are you? I ask because I know so little of the world. This place has been my cradle and my grave since the day of my birth, if you call it birth. I've only known this rustic desert where I live a miserable life, like a living skeleton, like an animated corpse. I've only met one man who knows of my despair and has taught me all I know about the earth and the sky. You might call me a human monster, since I am a man among beasts and beasts among men. And yet, amidst all this misfortune, I've studied human laws instructed by the beast, And from birds, I've learned to measure the distance between the gentle stars. Now, you have calmed my anger, brought wonder to my eyes, and your soft voice has brought calmness to my ears. The more I look at you, the more I'd like to admire and contemplate your beauty. For I feel a thirst in my eyes that not even death will be able to quench. Because if drinking is death, my eyes will long to drink all the more. And if seeing is dying, then I'm dying to see. I might seem astonished, but I'm quite moved by your words. And I don't know what to ask or how to respond. I can only say that heaven must have guided me here. And I have found comfort, if comfort can be found in someone sadder than oneself. There is a story of a wise man who was so poor that herbs were his only source of food. And one day he asked, "Can there be another soul who's as poor and miserable as me?" And when he looked behind him, he saw another man who had gathered the leaves he had discarded. I lived, lamenting my misfortune, wondering if others suffered my cursed fate. But now, I've listened to your words and realized my sorrows amount to nothing compared to your pain. So if I can offer consolation, listen to my heartache. Listen to what my sorrows have to say.
Guards of this tower! You cowards! Have you fallen asleep and let two people enter this prison? Now I'm confused. Cover your faces as a precaution. No one should see us. You have trespassed the bounds and limits of these grounds, violated the king's orders which prohibit anyone from visiting the prisoner. Surrender. Hand me your weapons. You tyrant! I swear I shall set myself free of these chains by taking my life before you try to offend and injure them. You know well that God's decree condemned you to death before you were born. Guards, lock the doors of this cell. I can see that pride offends you. Then allow me to plead for my life as I fall for your feet. Take their weapons and blindfold them. I place my sword in your hands, since you are the noblest, and it will refuse to be in the hands of someone of less nobility. Mine is less demanding, so I'll hand it to one of your guards. Good God! Who gave it to you? I am not supposed to reveal her name. Please, guard it with esteem for the sake of the man who wore it long ago. But what do you know about this sword? I can only tell you that it possesses a secret, a mystery. The one who gave it to me told me to travel to this land. She said, display your sword with skill and grace, so you can prove to noblemen you're one of them. She told me there would be one man who, upon seeing my sword, would provide me with shelter and become my benefactor. She refused to tell me his name.
This is the sword I left with the beautiful Violante. And I promised her that whoever she sends my way armed with this sword will find in me a gentle father's love. But what kind of fatherly love can I give him when he who brings the sword to win my favor has placed it in my hands and kneeled before me to meet his death?
Come then, strangers, and don't fear, for you're not alone in your misfortunes. For in times of uncertainty, I don't know if it's better to live or to die.
You already know that through my studies in science, I have obtained great recognition and have earned my place in the world as a man of wisdom. You already know that the science I esteem and study the most is the subtle mathematics by which I can discern and chart future events of ages to come. The science of racing against time, which allows me to foretell the future and win men's gratitude by alerting them to the days that lie ahead of us. Those astrological designs drawn by the stars are the subjects and the heart of my studies. The firmament is my book, a book I've learned to read with the speed of my own spirit, because events always seem eager to take their own path. I just wish that I had been the victim of heaven's wrath long before I learned to read its messages. For when a man is unfortunate, even his own merit can turn out to be a sharp knife that stabs him in the back. But let the events of my life explain all this far better than I, so you may marvel at them. With Chlorly, my wife, I had a son whose birth exhausted the sky of ill-fated omens even before he faced the light from the living grave of the womb. His mother dreamt of a monster in human form who ripped open her belly and, drenched in her own blood, was killing her. On the day of his birth, his zodiac sign was eclipsed by a great battle between the moon and the sun, in which the world was left blood-soaked in the darkest night since the death of Christ. Buildings shook. The clouds rained stones and the rivers gushed with blood. It was under these dark and fatal signs Segismundo was born, announcing his true nature by killing his mother, and by this malice saying, "I am a man, and I have begun to pay all kindness with evil." When I referred to my books, I discovered in them and in all things that Segismundo would be the cruelest of all men, the most evil prince, and the most impious of all monarchs, who would destroy and divide his kingdom. A school of treachery, an academy of vice, and that he one day, carried away by his cruelty amidst his crimes and horrors, would try to trample me. With great anguish, I admit it, for he's liable to make a carpet from the gray hairs of my beard. Who doesn't fear the coming harm? What man doesn't believe in the evil that has been predicted to him by his own studies? So, it was proclaimed that the prince had died at birth, and as a precaution, I built a tower hidden in the mountains, where light could hardly find its way. There, Segismundo lives to this day, as a wretched and poor prisoner, where only Clotaldo has spoken to him and kept him company. He has taught him the sciences and the Catholic faith, being the only man who has witnessed his misery. There are 3 things to be considered here. The first is that I love my country, and I must do all within my power to rescue it from the oppression of a tyrannical king. The second is that to deprive my own flesh and blood of the rights he deserves by both human and divine law is against Christian principles, because no law says that to restrain another man from being an insolent tyrant, I should become that way myself. The third is the great error I might have committed in allowing myself to believe in the predictions of events, because even if his character is inclined towards violence and destruction, perhaps he'll not be easily swayed, since even the most evil omen, the most awful astrological signs can but influence our free will, but not force us in any direction. And so, meditating on all this, I have come up with a solution that will stun you. Tomorrow, without letting him know he is my son and your king, I shall place my son on the throne so that he may take crown and govern you. And you will swear obedience. If he proves to be prudent, sane, and benign, then we'll know the star's predictions were inaccurate, and we'll benefit in having our rightful king. If he acts unjustly and cruelly, then I will have to depose him and imprison him again. If the prince should be, as I fear, my niece shall marry my nephew, and you will have a king and a queen more worthy of the crown. This I order as your king, and I ask of you as a father, and I beg you as your elder, as a man who trusted the stars.
Tell me how things went, Clotaldo. Everything you commanded has been carried out. I followed your orders carefully. I gathered herbs that possess sedative qualities, and I made a potion, a drink that deprives man of his ability to reason by robbing him temporarily of his inherent will. I gave Segismundo this potion to drink, and he fell into a deep sleep, but not before I reminded him of the silent wisdom of nature, and how the sky and the mountains have been his teachers, and how they taught him the laws that govern the beasts and birds. And in order to elevate his spirit, knowing what you intend to do, sir, I let him imagine a mighty eagle, which prefers the heights of rising fires and comets instead of diving down towards the shallow gusts of worldly winds. I praised its bold flight by saying, after all, you are the king of the birds, so you have the right to fly above them all. This prompted him to think of kingship and inspired in him great thoughts of ambition and pride, since royal blood runs through his veins. But I could also hear rage in his voice as he said, I know that in the Republic of Birds there is a natural order, and some birds swear obedience to others, but I am not a bird, and I will never submit to another man's will. Seeing that this made him furious, since it's his constant turmoil, I gave him the potion, and as soon as he drank it, he surrendered his strength to a deep sleep. A cold sweat came over him. He trembled so much that if I hadn't known these were the effects of the drug, I would have feared for his life. Then a few men came to take him away, and brought him here to this palace, and laid him on your bed. There he sleeps until the drug loses its power. This is all an experiment, Clotaldo. I wish to prove whether it is possible to change fate, or whether humans have the capacity to dominate and rule the stars. This is why I have brought him to the palace. We will test his ability by allowing him to rule. May I ask, my lord, why we put him to sleep? If he learned today that he is my son, and then tomorrow saw himself once more reduced to prison and to misery, this would surely destroy him and leave him without any consolation. It would be better to make him believe that everything he sees is nothing more than a dream. Because in this world, Clotaldo, everyone who lives is dreaming. I've come to witness the celebrations, but it cost me 4 blows to get in. 4 times the guard at the door smacked me. 4 times he asked for a permit or a pass. It is expensive to enter this palace. I told him I didn't need a written order to witness all the celebrations. My eyes are my tickets of admission. They are my paid seats, my windows, my balconies. Here's Clarín, the servant of that misfortunate being who has brought this country my disgrace. Clarín, what news do you have? What news? Sir, you have advised Rosaura to dress as her own sex. I believe it is the proper thing to do so as not to cause a scandal. She also changed her name. And now she seems to be your niece. That's good news, isn't it? Not necessarily for me. I'm left without a job since she is now residing in the palace and is the maid of honor of the extraordinary Princess Estrella. We'll find something for you to do. It would be better if you help Rosada in other ways and help her find the man who's done her wrong. All in due time, Clarín. Time will settle all accounts. That's all I think about. Time. And time seems to be at a standstill for me, since I have no employment and my lady is living in luxury like a queen because everyone thinks she's your niece. And everyone forgets I'm Clarín. And the name Clarín comes from clarion. And clarion means trumpet. And should I sound my trumpet, the king, Astolfo, and Estrella will immediately find out what's going on. For I can be both a loud trumpet and a servant. And neither is good with secrets. I understand your concerns. For the time being, you can be my servant.
Heavens. Where am I? I can't believe my eyes. I'm amazed by everything I see before me. Me in this majestic palace. Me wearing such fine clothes. And surrounded by such elegant servants. Me waking up in such a soft bed. To say I'm dreaming all this would be a mistake, since everything seems so real. I know I'm not dreaming. Am I not Segismundo? God, tell me the truth. I find myself here in this place. But why should I worry about these things when I should let myself be served?
Your Highness, great Lord, give me your hand to kiss. Allow me to have the honor to be first to swear obedience to you as Lord. Here's Clotado. How is it possible that the man who mistreated me in prison treats me now with such respect? Tell me what is happening to me. I can understand why you're confused and full of doubts when your life has suddenly changed. But I will try to help you understand. Sir, you ought to know that you are the prince of this land, and you will inherit the throne. You have been kept away from this palace because the stars foretold 1,000 disasters if you were crowned. But trusting that you have the ability to defeat the predictions, since fate can be controlled by your goodwill and actions, you have been brought to the palace while your soul surrendered to sleep. The king, your father, will come to visit you soon, and he'll tell you the rest. What just happened here? Nothing. Someone made me very angry and I threw him out the window. On your first day, you kill a man. He told me it couldn't be done, so I proved him wrong. You devastate me with your violence. I was hoping you had the ability to conquer your fate. But it saddens me to see that your first deed here is to commit a murder. How can I offer you my arms and embrace you when I know your hands are stained with human blood? Who can see a dagger covered in blood and not feel terror? seeing your cruel hands keeps me from your arms because I can't imagine them wrapped around me in a loving embrace. I don't need your embrace. I've lived without it all these years. Who would want the embrace of a father who mistreats his son? Why would I want a father who locks me up in a tower and treats me like an animal? Like a monster? How can I value your embrace if you have deprived me of human life? I wish to God you had never been born, so I wouldn't have to hear your voice and live with such disgrace. But you did give me life, and then you denied me my place in the world. You were a poor and miserable prisoner, and now you're a prince. The least you can be is grateful. Why should I be grateful when everything you're giving me is what I'm entitled to have by right of birth? I'm not indebted to you. If anything, you owe me for all the years you kept me from the world, all the years you robbed me of freedom, life, and honor. You're lucky I don't claim what you stole from me. You're the one who ought to be grateful. You beast! You insolent tyrant! Arrogant fool! The stars have fulfilled their prophecy. You're everything they predicted you to be. I suggest that you be humble and kind. Take heed. Tomorrow, you could wake up and discover that this was all a dream.
No. I can't be dreaming all this. No. I'm not asleep. I can see and touch. I know who I was and who I am now. There's no turning back, Father. Even though you regret it, I know I am the prince, and I will inherit your throne.
The prince is here. I'll go. Stop, woman, stop! Don't go! Who are you? It feels as if I've seen you before. I am an unhappy woman, waiting on Estrella. Why do you have to serve Estrella, when she seems to be but a faint star, one that depends on your light? How is that possible, if in the realm of fragrances, the rose presides over other flowers, and in the academy of stones, the splendor of the diamond is most desired? And if you look at the empire of moving stars, you'll find that Venus is the favorite in the sky. Why must you serve a woman of lesser beauty, when you are like Venus, like a diamond, like a rose? I'm honored by your compliments, but let my silence be my response, since I lack the words or reasoning to form a reply. And sometimes, the most eloquent answer is quiet. Why do you wish to leave me in darkness? What's happened here? A lot has happened here. I tried to kill this old man. You have no respect for an old man. At your age, you may also find yourself pleading for mercy at my feet, since I haven't forgotten the cruel way you raised me. Before that happens, you'll fall asleep again. And when you awaken, you'll believe that everything that has been happening to you was a dream.
Don't wake up. You don't want to see your change of fate. You don't want to see how your world has turned upside down, and your glory was as brief as a shadow of life, a flame of death.
There he is. He's back to his old state of misery. My poor, unfortunate prince. born in an evil hour. You can awaken him now. The narcotic you gave him has probably lost its strength. He is restless, my lord, and he is speaking in his sleep. He threatens to kill me and says awful things, such as that he will make you his slave. Wake him up. Where am I? Where am I? It's better if he doesn't see me. Can this be me? Am I in chains again? Am I once more in prison? Am I back in my grave? Yes, God, help me. All the things I dreamt. It's time to wake up. Yes. It's time to wake up. You must have slept from the time I was telling you about the flying eagle until now. Have you slept all day? Yes. And I'm probably still asleep. What I saw all around me was a dream. And what I see now before me must be part of another dream. I must still be asleep, since everything seems as clear and vivid as it was in my dream. But everything can be a dream. Tell me what you dreamt about. I can't describe it as a dream. I can only tell you what I saw with my own eyes. Perhaps it was all a lie. But I woke up in a bed made out of petals. It was so soft. It could have been woven by the flowers of spring. 1,000 noblemen bowed down to me, called me their prince, and offered me fine clothing and jewels. You were there. And when you noticed my state of confusion, you told me of my good fortune. I might appear to be in chains now, Clotaldo, but there, I was a prince. You must have given me a reward for the good news. No. I called you a traitor and tried to kill you. You were so cruel to me. I was the lord of all, and I wanted to take revenge for what was done to me. I felt love for one woman. Now everything is gone, and I still feel that love within me. You dreamt of empires because we had a conversation about eagles. But even in dreams, you should honor someone like me, who raised you with such pains. Even in dreams, good deeds are never lost.
Then let me restrain my fury, my ambition, and my rage. Yes, I'll do that. Since life's so strange, and living seems like dreaming. The king dreams he's king, and lives and rules under this falsehood. And all the acclamations he receives are nothing but words that will later fade to ashes, scattered in the winds. And to think, there are men who want to rule, knowing that one day they must awaken from the sleep of death. The rich man dreams of gold coins and silver, but with that dream comes the burden and worries of guarding his fortune. The poor man dreams his sufferings, for the poor man has nothing but his misery and poverty. We live and dream a reality until we awaken from our sleep. The man who tries to get ahead of life is dreaming. The man who works and strives is dreaming. The man who hurts, offends, and wounds is dreaming. In this world, all men dream who they are, but no one understands this. I dream that I am imprisoned in this cell. Yet, I dreamt once before that I lived a better life. And what is life? A frenzy. What is life? An illusion? A shadow? A fiction? And our greatest good is but little. For all of life is a dream. And dreams are only dreams.
Long live Segismundo! Who is calling my name? Great Prince Segismundo, your father, King Basilio, fearful of a prophecy which said he would find himself defenseless kneeling at your feet, wants to deprive you of your throne and give it to Duke Astolfo. This is what he's announced to his court. But since the people have learned they have a natural successor, they refuse to have a foreigner come and rule them. So with good intentions, we've come to find you. We've come to free you from this place where you're being unjustly kept as prisoner. Come then. We bring weapons, and outside awaits an army that will declare war and fight to secure your place as our sovereign leader.
Am I to dream again of great heights and power that will diminish time? Am I to witness another landscape of shadows that will soon vanish in the wind? Or should I risk being deceived by my own humble intuition, which we've learned to guard and protect? I won't allow it. I won't. I know that this life is a dream. I know you're trying to deceive my dead senses. So go away, figments of my imagination. Voice without a body. Body without a voice. I don't want false notions or imaginary power. I will not have illusions that dissolve at the slightest breath of dawn. I know you well. I know you. I know you do the same to all who fall asleep. No use pretending. I know that life is a dream.
If you think we're fooling you, look outside and see what was once a desolate mountain is now filled with soldiers waiting to obey you. I saw that once before, just as clearly and distinctly as I see it now. And it was a dream. Dreams always seem to foretell what is to come. And that was the meaning of your dream. You're right. And in case what was foretold is accurate, and life seems brief as a dream, let us dream again. Let us dream. But let us close our eyes and be attentive, knowing that we must awaken when the dream is full of pleasure, and we'll be able to laugh and be less deceived if we are warned against this harm. So taking all precaution and knowing that power is merely borrowed and must be returned to its owner, let us dare and risk everything. Soldiers, I thank you for your loyalty. You'll find in me a leader who will free you from foreign rule. Prepare for battle. I'll prove my courage. I'll declare war against my father and defeat him. Soon, I'll see him kneeling at my feet.
Long live Segismundo!
Heavens, what's all this commotion? Clotado, I kneel before you. I know I shall die. Get up from the ground. I need you as my guide. I need to trust you as one trusts a guiding star. For I know that I owe my upbringing to your great loyalty. What are you saying? That I am dreaming. And I want to do good. For even in dreams, good deeds are never lost. Well, sire, if doing good is what you desire, then don't be offended if I also do the same. This means I cannot counsel you. If you wish to make war on your father, my king, here I am, at your feet. Kill me. Clotaldo, I respect your decision. Now go and serve your king. We shall meet on the battlefield. I am grateful to you 1,000 times. Don't let me open my eyes if I sleep. And if this is reality, don't let me close my eyes. Dream or reality, to do good is what matters. Now let us go and fight!
The main hall of this palace has been reduced to a scene of horror, a vulgar theater where an unknown fate stages a tragedy. There's no use fighting what is meant to be, because in trying to avoid the risk of meeting it, one meets it. Cruel law, awful truth, terrible horror. A man trying to escape danger runs into it. I, myself, have destroyed my country.
Thank God I reach your feet alive. The people, like a blind, reckless monster, have broken into the tower and set him free. And being honored and treated like a king a second time, he promises that he will make heaven's prediction come true. Give me a horse, that I might defeat an ungrateful son. If the wisdom of science has failed me, then I must resort to my sword and defend my throne. If the ancient Romans could only see me leading an army that could conquer the sky. But let us conquer something less grand than the firmament. The higher the heights, the greater the fall. The more I'll lose once the dream is shattered. Fate brings her back to me.
Noble prince who rises from his dark night like the sun, and in the arms of dawn restores light upon hills, trees, and roses. May you protect the unhappy woman who kneels before you. I trust you will help me because you are noble and I am a woman who needs your help. 3 times you have seen me. 3 times I've appeared before you in different guise and form. The first time, you mistook me for a man, and you were a prisoner in chains, and my pain seemed like nothing compared to your misery. The second time, you saw me as a woman, and I was like a phantom, an illusion in your dream of majesty. The third time is today, and I must seem like a monster of both sexist since I carry a weapon and appear before you in a dress. I was born of a noble mother who must have been beautiful but also unfortunate. My father swore to marry her, but he never kept his word. And still, until this day, my mother holds on to that promise. I tell you all of this, my lord, because I have inherited my mother's fate. And I suffered the same misfortune. The man who betrayed my faith and stained my honor is Astolfo. His name alone fills my heart with rage and anger. Astolfo was my faithless lover, who one day forgot all our glories and traveled to this country to marry Estrella. So sad and devastated was I that I became mute, a dead woman, since there are sorrows that can never form into words. It was my mother who broke the walls of my silent rage, and all my grief gushed out of my breast like aimless troops. It was my mother who bade me to follow Astolfo here and gave me this sword so I could claim his debt to my honor. It was my mother who told me to dress as a man and conceal my identity. Now, I kneel before you as a woman. I ask you to help me restore my name and reputation. As a man, I stand before you and take this sword in my hand to help you battle for your crown. As a woman, I knock gently at the doors of your heart. As a man, I am armed with courage to fight by your side. 3 times I have appeared before you. As a man, as a woman, and now as a humble soul. If it's true I'm dreaming, then I shouldn't be remembering. There's not enough room in dreams for memories. But how could this woman say she saw me and mention such vivid details of my dream? Then it was reality. It wasn't a dream. Such confusion! How can I say my life is a dream? Are glories and dreams similar? Is fiction reality? Is reality a lie? Is there so little difference between them? What is seeing and tasting? Is it a lie or truth? Rosara is in my presence. I adore her beauty. She's here by my side. Let love break every rule, even her trust in me. This is a dream. It has to be a dream. Then let me dream of joy and pleasure before they turn into sorrows. No. No! I mustn't be driven by desire and temptation. Pleasure is a lovely flame that doesn't last forever. I must look to eternity. Rosara has been dishonored. As a prince, I should restore her name and honor. Sound to arms! Prepare for battle.
Sir, you offer no reply for my plight. Doesn't my pain and anguish deserve a single word from you? How can you turn your back on me, my lord? Rosaura, in order for me to be kind, I must be cruel to you now. I don't understand. I can't look at your face now. I cannot look at your beauty if you want me to think of your honor. Prepare for battle!
don't get caught in the middle of this war, I'll just step off to the side and watch the whole game from here. This is a well-hidden and secure place. And since death can never find me here, here's to you, death! I am an unlucky man who is trying to escape death and instead ran into it. We always run into the thing we're escaping from. Go back. Go back to the battlefield. If you're trying to escape death, there is more safety amidst the bullets than on the secluded mountains. No corner or hidden place is safe from the force of destiny.
Search the whole mountain, rock by rock, let no stone be unturned.
If you're looking for me, here I am. I kneel before you, Prince. You may step on my white hair and let it be your carpet. Tread on my neck and trample on my crown. You can take revenge on my honor. You can crush and drag my dignity into the dirt of this country and treat me as your captive. Let fate claim its victory, and let the words of heaven be fulfilled at last. Illustrious court, you who have been the witness of such great events, be attentive and listen to what your prince has to say. God has his mysterious alphabet, and all that has been written on the blue papers of heaven is not meant to deceive. The one who lies and betrays us is the man who misinterprets and makes wrong use of God's words. My father, here present, who feared my rage, tried to prevent my existence in the world. My blood is noble, and my nature is gentle. But he made me an animal, a human beast. Hear me now, Father. Fate can never be defeated by injustice and cruelty. For violence breeds resentment and revenge. Now look at him, kneeling at his son's feet. His kingdom destroyed. He took all measures to prevent a prophecy that threatened him and failed. I'm younger in age, less brave, less wise than the king, and I wonder how I'm going to overcome that fate. Get up, Father. Give me your hand. Life has shown you your mistakes. I humbly kneel before you. I'm at your mercy.
Long live Segismundo.
Long live
Long
Segismundo!
live Segismundo.
There are other victories I need to win. The most difficult one is to have victory over myself, my heart. For the moment, let us set in order the dreams that soon fade, like breath on a piece of glass. Astolfo, give your hand to Rosaura.
But sir!
Give your hand to Rosaura.
But, Your Majesty.
It is a debt of honor you owe her.
She doesn't even know who her father was.
I am her father. I can prove she's my daughter with my sword in a duel. I don't understand. I didn't want to reveal who she was until she was properly married. Then I'll keep my word.
Why do you seem surprised? My teacher was nothing but a dream. So let us dream. Tomorrow, life will become dust, and love a breeze that passes by unnoticed. out in the world, no one is awake. No one. So let us dream. Let us dream. And if someone can't sleep, let them open their windows so they can gaze at the moving skies and dream with open eyes. Let them listen to music so they can dream through the sweet sound that enters their soul. I've learned that human happiness passes by like a dream. So we must enjoy it before it fades away. And we must ask noble hearts to forgive us if we make mistakes.